At Christmas time, more than usual, thoughts turn to memories of childhood in the old hometown. For me, that's Lost Creek, West Virginia. A gas station, a hardware store, a post office, and a church, and a collection of houses, population 172. Railroad tracks ran through the valley and right through the middle of town, the heart of Appalachia. But Lost Creek doesn't even appear on a road map until 1978. To recall one Christmas memorable from those days, I take you back to 1959 when I was 10 years old. Now, we lived in a tired old brick house built by my great-great-grandfather during the Stone Age. It sits at the base of a steep hill on a dead-end stretch of dirt road. It was a Saturday morning 2 weeks before Christmas, and by promising not to wander off or complain, my mother agreed to take me with her on the Trailways bus the few miles into Clarksburg, population 28,000, so she could do the Christmas shopping. We went to the Western Auto Store first, then to the J.C. Penney's, had lunch at the counter at the Rexall drugstore, and in the afternoon, the largest store in Clarksburg, the Montgomery Ward's. While my mother shopped, I got to pass the time in the toy department. Everything imaginable to a boy was there. Bicycles, games, erector sets and Lincoln logs, cap guns and cowboy outfits, model airplanes, model ships, and model cars you could customize yourself. And then, the champion of them all, the Lionel electric train sets. There was a display in the store window that covered about half an acre. The engine had a working whistle and light. It had box cars, tank cars, coal cars, one flat car, and a red caboose. It passed through a little town with a Model SO gas station. There was a tunnel and a bridge, trees, little painted people. I mean, it was mesmerizing right there. A perfect little world on a table. And I told my mother that the Lionel electric train is all that I wanted for Christmas, and if I could just have that, they would never have to buy me another thing, ever. Well, she did look at the price of the Lionel train sets, $32.50 just for the basic set. That was a locomotive, 4 cars, a caboose, a small oval of tracks, and a transformer. For the next 2 weeks, all I can think about is that electric train set. I kept imagining that entire store display, that perfect little world, set up on the dining room table in our house. Well, Christmas Day finally came, and guess what? I did not get the Lionel electric train set. I didn't really expect to. I knew that it was too much to wish for. Instead, I got a battery-operated horn for my bicycle. I'm sure Mother brought that at the Western Auto Store. An inexpensive hunting knife I got. Also a set of army men. The Americans were green and the Germans were light brown. In the afternoon, of course, we had Christmas dinner with all the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and my grandmother. We had a pork roast with boiled potatoes and green beans and my mother's famous cranberry sauce. That's the recipe where she opens a can, turns it upside down, and dumps it into a bowl that belonged to her great-grandmother. Nobody ever ate the cranberry sauce, but it was important to have them on the table at Christmas time in a bowl passed down through 4 generations. Well, I'd been cooped up in the house all day, so that night, with just a few aunts and uncles talking quietly in the front room over bottles of beer, I put on my coat and my boots and my gloves to go outside. It gets very dark in the country. On the back porch, I can see across our small yard to where the steep grade of the hill begins. I have plenty of energy from being inside all day, so without even thinking about it, I start right on up. And when I get to the top and I turn around, I can barely believe my eyes. Now, I had been up there hundreds of times, but never in the winter and never at night. First of all, the stars. And in the winter with no leaves on the trees, I can see all the way into Lost Creek. I can see the dark post office. I can see the night lights on in the hardware store and in the gas station. And I can see the coal smoke rising from the chimneys of all the other houses on our road. And then way off in the distance, I hear a familiar sound. It's the hum of a diesel electric, the rise and fall as it shifts gears to make the grade coming into our valley. And in the cold night air, I can clearly hear the hiss of the air brakes. I can hear the click of the wheels over each gap in the tracks. At first, all I could see was the brilliant headlamp sweeping along, reflecting off the trees. And then as most of the train becomes visible now against the opposite hillside, it lets go this long plaintive whistle that echoes off the hills. And I think that's when I had a few small childlike tears, because even at the age of 10, I think that was the year that I realized that Christmas is not on a store shelf and the world is not on a tabletop. They're in a post office, a gas station, a hardware store, and an old brick house at the end of a dirt road that make up Lost Creek, West Virginia.